What's going on, guys? Alex with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Giant Mouse Knives Ace Reo. So this is, I'm going to say it right off the bat, my favorite Giant Mouse model that I've ever handled from them. I had my eyes on this for quite a while, and then Kevin over at Lefty EDC added this one and the Ace Iona V2 into a little package and sent it around via the Lefty passaround group. So that is where this is coming from. So shout out to you, Kev, if you are watching this. Thank you, as always, my good friend. But yeah, I'm just going to get this right out of the way. This is the best model I think Giant Mouse has made that I've handled before. I've handled this. I've handled, obviously, the Iona V2. I've handled the original Iona. I've handled multiple Grands. I've handled the Biblio. I've handled the Nazca when I was in, where did I handle that at? Oh, Freight and Lock in Syracuse when I stopped there on my way through when me and my fiance were going on our trip back in the spring. I handled the Nazca there. So I've handled most of their models, and I just think that this one, the fit and finish is really good. I think the materials are awesome. It's just, it's slim, it's slicey, it's lightweight, it looks really, really good. So I'm a huge fan of this. So right off the bat, this is going to be a good, positive review. This is obviously, like I just said, a loaner knife, so I'm not going to be able to keep it. But this is definitely on my short list of knives I would like to purchase in the future. I'm definitely going to miss this. I have reached for this a ton, carried a ton, fidgeted with it a ton, just, wanted to involve myself with it in some way, shape, or form a lot. And it was, it definitely, it's going to be missed when it's no longer in my, in my possession. But starting off with materials, you guys can see that this is rocking some, they're called denim. They're a little bit, they're definitely blue, but they're not as in your face blue as a lot of other denim micartas are. And if you can see, it has some beautiful, I believe that they're calling it diamond texturing or diamond milling, a diamond pattern. Kind of runs right up through the knife, and that adds a very nice amount of grip on there. Obviously, you can see a loop over style deep carry wire paw clip that is lefty or righty carry, which is nice. I'm sure this would fit a Lynch clip if they, if you wanted to get one on there, but I just love the way wire clips work and function. They're just really, really nice. Always have, always probably will. But titanium backspacer right here. Just a beautiful drop point style blade. Has a little bit of a speary point to it too, but it's just nice and simple. You guys can see right there, CPM Magna Cut right there. The Ace logo. Nice sterile blade on this side. Of course, it's a liner lock with a lot of lock bar access. Very nice slim knife, nested liners. There is internal milling on both sides. This is very lightweight. Of course, you have the crown spine and the jimping out there. Some specs on it. So overall length is 7.94 inches. Blade length coming in at 3.33 inches. Blade thickness, 0.125 inches. Handle length, 4.62 inches. And weight is 2.7 inches. So you are getting a a knife that has a blade length of over 3.25 inches for under 3 ounces. And I think that is very, very, nice and very important when you're looking at overall specs with this knife and, pros and cons, which I really don't think there's a single con in this knife. I love it that much. And it is manufactured in Italy, which is something else I want to touch on, because with Giant Mouse, from my understanding, they have a lot of their knives made in their factories in Italy, but then they also have some knives that are made by Riot. I don't know all of them that are made by Riot, but I believe the Nazca, which has the crossbar lock, is made by Riot. I could be wrong, but I'm 95% sure that's what I was told. But I think all the other models I've handled from them have been Italian-made knives. And the last Giant Mouse knife that I've purchased was the Ace Grand in red micarta and a black wash M390, and I really like that knife, but I ended up getting rid of it because it had really bad lock stick, and I just couldn't figure out how to do it or how to get rid of it. I tried multiple methods, cleaning it, using alcohol, kind of sanding it down a little bit, and I couldn't get rid of it for the life of me. And that's just kind of the theme that I had with Giant Mouse, is their quality control wasn't that great. I've always been attracted to their designs for the most part, but I feel like their quality control wasn't fantastic. But with this one, it is very, very good. You know, it just kind of something that I wanted to, you know, put forth to you guys is the Italian-made knives, you know, are starting to become better. And, you know, it might just be the Reo. It might just be, you know, I'm not sure. Hopefully in all aspects, it's becoming better because the Reo is really, really good. But yeah, that's all for materials. Now there are, I think, 3 other different options. There are either 2 or 3 more options. There's another micarta or 2, either a green or a natural or both, I forget. And they also have a carbon fiber version. My personal favorite is the blue denim. I think it just looks the best. It's kind of a very subtle blue, like I said. And, you know, the diamond texturing on there just looks and feels really, really good. So moving on to action. Now I will say right away, I've not taken this knife apart, but I believe I saw on one of Kevin's videos or in one of his messages in our group chat, he puts gifts in this knife. So these I don't think are the factory stock bearings from Giant Mouse knives. So you do have to take that into a little bit of, you know, consideration. This is and does have upgraded, you know, skiff bearings. But you have a hole for deployment, obviously. Pill-shaped hole on an angle, which is really nice. I love the way it just kind of tucked back into that corner there. To me, this reminds me of the Nimbus in the Nimbus V2, which is done by Giant Mouse, and it has a very similar hole shape to it, but it just looks really good. Thumb flick, flies right out of there. Middle finger flick, flies right out of there. You can slow roll this knife very easily. I find myself doing that quite a bit, and I never slow roll knives, really, but just works nice, simple. You, of course, can index finger flick, middle finger flick. It's just so snappy. You can hear it snapping back into place. Thumb flick. Then, of course, you guys can lefty flick it. You can lefty thumb flick it. And you can lefty slow roll it. But as for closing, flies out, drops to your thumb. You guys can see it's not a guillotine. It's not gonna, you know, swing shut, but some nice micro shakes or drop, one big shake. It's very nice. It's very smooth. No blade play at all. It's locked up very, very tight. So the action is just, it's fun. It's not, you know, I wouldn't say it's the best action I've ever handled in my life, but it has a good detent. It has a nice snappy, it's the whack when it flies out of there. The way the cutout in the hole is makes for a good thumb flick and makes for a really, really good middle finger flick. Of course, it does have skiffs, so it's a little bit better than factory bearings, but just nice and smooth and just repetitive. That's kind of repetitive and consistent, and those are 2 really good qualities, I think, when it comes to action and how it feels and how it, you know, how it works for you. But you know, opening action, fantastic. Closing action, very, very good. So again, nothing to complain about, in my opinion, with this knife. So action is a 10 out of 10. Next up, we're going to be talking about Ergos. Ergos are very, very good for this knife. It's very, very utilitarian, very simple. You pretty much have a straight line back here. It does have a little bit of a curvature, has a little bit of a hump here, but it's pretty neutral, pretty straight. That curves down around here. You do have a lanyard hole built into the backspacer, which I forgot to mention earlier, but nice tucked away there. Here you have a pretty similar to up top. It's a pretty straight line. It swells a little bit right in here, but it's straight. Then here you get a nice finger groove built in. There is no choil on this knife, which is, you know, okay for me. I think that I really liked how the blade shape looks. So I think with having a choil there, it would have taken away from the aesthetics, in my opinion, for this knife. But I can get all 4 fingers in this knife very easily. I have plenty of room. I don't feel like I'm cramped or anything like that. Of course, with the Ergos, the crown spine with the jimping in the middle of the spine just works so well, because when you're in a saber grip, my thumb literally lands right on that jimping, and it just feels really, really good. You get a really good purchase with it. The pocket clip, of course, is a wire pocket clip, so that is fantastic for not causing hot spots. It's just so minimalistic, and like it's not even there. It feels really good when I, you know, grip down on it. If I'm absolutely just like gripping this in a death grip, yeah, I can feel it a little bit, but it's not, you know, it's really very comfortable when it comes to pocket clips, and that's pretty much all the time when you have wire clips on your knives. So that's very, very good. But love the jimping, love the paw clip. Again, that texturing on the micarta adds a very nice sort of, not sort of, it definitely adds a nice grip to your ergonomic experience. Micarta is really nicely done. Of course, this is a pass-around knife, so it's not directly from the factory, but it's a really nice level of micarta. It's not, the cheap stuff. It's not, it's not like scratchy and like kind of echoey. It just has a good, feeling to it. And of course, when you carry it more, when you use it more of your oils and, so on and so forth will soak up into this and it'll become softer, which is always really nice. Kind of patiness to your own hands, which is another reason why I like micarta so much. But yeah, very comfortable hammer grip. A pinch grip works really good. Thumb, middle finger right here, index finger up here to control cuts through it. That's very nice, very controllable. And really the weight just feels really good too, because again, it's 2.7 ounces, so sub 3 ounces on a knife that has a blade of 3.33 inches. I think that's fantastic. It's a very, very good ratio of weight to overall size in this knife, which is nice. But yeah, Ergos are just good. They're simple. And overall, this knife is very, very simple, which I have to applaud it for. So, have no complaints at all with the Ergo experience on the Ace Reo. But next up, we're going to talk about Carrie. And you guys can probably guess, but Carrie is also very, very good with the Reo. So I know I've already talked about it, but you do have a loop over style wire clip, lefty or righty, which is very, very nice. You can get a Lynch clip for this, but not my knife. And I think if I were even to purchase this knife, I do like the wire clip on here. It just is so functionable, so minimalistic, and so out of the way. But drops that in your pocket. You have about that much sticking about, pretty much the backspacer, which doesn't bother me. It's very, very pretty deep for the knife, so no really true complaints there. But drops that in your pocket. You have no flipper tabs, no jimping on this side. If you happen to be going down below the knife, pulling up out, change, medicine, chapstick, anything like that, you have no risk of catching a flipper tab and pulling it up out of your pocket if you are, reaching for one of those. But carries really well. I've carried this, like I said, a lot. This was probably, if you look at all the loaner knives I've had in over the past 6 months to a year, I've had some pretty dope knives in via, the Lefty passaround group, via the Apex group, via just some other people sending me stuff. I've had some really cool knives in, but I think this would have to be in my top 3 knives that I've gravitated more towards. Because in my case right now, I have a whole, I can't even think of the name. I have a nice Pelican case with I think it's a Nowpack group insert in it, and it's 8 wide, and I have a whole row of loaners lined up in here, and even a couple in front of it because I have quite a bit of loaners in right now. I need to get banged out for you guys. But every time I look at it, I'm just like, good knife, cool knife, I like that knife, it's interesting, so on and so forth. But I'm like, the Reo, like, it's just fun. And but back to the the Carrie. I've carried this a ton in my khakis and my bird dogs. I've carried this a ton in gym shorts. I've carried this a lot in and out of the house, around the house, going out, doing stuff for the day, so on and so forth. I've really carried this a ton, and I've enjoyed every single second of it. So, with the weight combined with the real thinness of the knife, it makes for a very, very good carry, and I don't know how you could go wrong with the Reo. So that is leading me to my final category of price point and would I recommend this knife. The price point on the Giant Mouse Knives Ace Reo is $195, which I think it's a good deal for a sub $200. And something cool that I found out, so if you're going directly to Giant Mouse's website, Kevin, Lefty EDC, has I believe a $5 off code. If you want to go directly from the website, you can save $5, so $190. But Giant Mouse Knives, I believe, just started carrying, or not Giant Mouse, White Mountain Knives just started carrying Giant Mouse Knives, and this is currently in stock on the website. So if you use Kevin's code, Lefty10, that gets you 10% off. So I believe that's like $19.50. So you can get this down to like $176. I think that is a fantastic deal. Even retail price for this, I think, is really good. I was definitely prepared to pay retail whenever I get around to buying it in the future, because I really am going to miss this knife and I would like to add one to the collection at some point. But I think $195 is awesome. You get that cheaper, use the code, get it down to $175, $176. that's even better. But you know, you're getting Magna Cut, which is really nice. And I forgot to even talk about the grind with the Ergos, but it's a nice flat satin grind, nice thin edge. Of course, you have, you know, pretty thin blade stock, so it just makes you know, the cutting experience really well. Just slices through stuff, get some good push cuts going on. But as I was saying, you know, CPM Magna Cut, blue denim micarta with a very, very cool diamond texturing pattern, liner lock, very good action, wire pocket clip, great carry, great ergos, great action, just all around a really fantastic knife. And in my humble opinion, this is Giant Mouse's best knife. I said this once in the group chat like a day or two after I got this knife, and I think Casey over at Knives Fast said he liked it, but he liked the Jutland more. So maybe that's another Giant Mouse that I need to check out. It's a relatively, not a newer model, but it's newer than like the Biblio and the Rib and all that stuff like that. Has like a clip point or a Bowie style blade, so that might be something I have to throw on my radar. But I can absolutely recommend this knife, guys, so much. It's really, really good. I've really enjoyed it. I'm gonna miss it a ton. If you guys are interested in it, definitely go check one out. Definitely go pick one up, because I don't think you are going to be disappointed. If you think this knife looks cool, then you're definitely going to enjoy all the other aspects about it. Like I said, ergos, carry, action, aesthetics, everything all in one. I think it's a fantastic package, and I think it's a really, really good, just all-around EDC knife. I think Giant Mouse has a winner on their hands. I would love in the future, which I'm willing to bet they will, because I think they've had pretty good success with the Reo. I would absolutely love a titanium version of this, which I think they might do, because the Ace Tribeca, I believe, is one of their other newer models, and they just come out with a titanium version of that. So I think if you did a Thai version of this, that would maybe, you know, sort of make me want to pull the trigger even more. But I really do like the mic on it. I like everything about it. So this was my full review on the Giant Mouse Knives Ace Reo. I'm going to wrap this up now, guys. I think I was able to get a pretty good point across to you. It's a very positive review. Hopefully you're able to take everything with a grain of salt, but it's a good knife, guys. It really is. I think it's fantastic. Hopefully, if you guys are interested, or if you're on the fence, this can maybe skew you towards getting one or finding someone that has one and, you know, experiencing one for yourself, because it's really that good in my opinion. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said, thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, day, evening, night, whenever you are watching Alex and 814 EDC's videos. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.